All right, let's get right into it. Are you paying for leads or are you paying for actual conversations? That's the billion-dollar question we're tackling today as we put cost per lead up against cost per connect. And believe me, this isn't just a simple comparison. It's a choice that can make or break the success of any modern calling campaign. Okay, let's dive in. To really get why this matters so much, just look at this number. $72 billion. That is the insane amount of money wasted just this year on digital ads that brought in contacts who were never, ever going to convert. And a huge chunk of that waste, it comes from chasing a low cost per lead without ever stopping to ask if those leads could even be reached in the first place. The stakes really couldn't be higher. So let's meet our first contender, cost per lead, or CPL. Now, on the surface, it's a really simple, straightforward metric. You just take your total marketing spend, you divide it by the number of new leads you got, and bam, that's your CPL. It's just the cost of getting a name and a number into your system. Sounds simple, right? Well, as we're about to see, that simplicity can be incredibly deceiving. And look, CPL is popular for a reason. It's super easy to track. It gives you this nice, clean number that really seems to measure how efficient you're being. You can compare it across all your channels, email, social, you name it, and it feels like you've got everything under control. But what if that feeling of control is just an illusion? This right here, this is the question that changes the entire game. We've been conditioned for years to think that a lower CPL is always, always better. But what if chasing that low number is secretly costing you an absolute fortune and wasted time, burned out agents, and ultimately lost revenue? To see just how expensive cheap can be, let's dig into a tale of two very different campaigns. This is where the numbers really start to pull back the curtain on the whole CPL myth. Okay, let's break this down. On the left, you've got Campaign A, and they are laser-focused on getting a low CPL. For their $6,000 spend, they get a CPL of just $30 and a whopping 200 leads. That looks fantastic on a marketing report, right? But look closer. Their conversion rate is a dismal 2%. Now, look at Campaign B. Their CPL is 4 times higher at $120. But because they're focused on quality, not quantity, their conversion rate is 15%. And the final result? They acquire twice as many customers, and their cost per acquisition, the actual cost to get a paying customer, is half of Campaign A's. This just perfectly shows how a cheap CPL can be a total vanity metric. And a damage goes way beyond just a higher acquisition cost. I mean, think about your sales team for a second. They are burning out, wasting day after day chasing contacts who have no budget, no authority, and frankly, no real interest. Your pipeline might look full, but it's an illusion. It's just packed with dead ends. This leads to terrible morale, wildly inaccurate revenue forecasts, and it totally masks the real problem. You're not just getting bad leads. For all practical purposes, you're getting no leads at all. Christian Montes, the COO at NobleBiz, he absolutely nailed it when he said this. Shifting your focus to quality, it isn't just about tweaking a few numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about protecting the actual health of your sales organization, from your reputation in the market, all the way to the motivation and success of your team. So if CPL can be the wrong metric to chase, what's the right one? Well, meet cost per connect. This metric doesn't care one bit about how many names are in your database. It measures what actually matters, the total cost to have a real, live conversation with a qualified prospect. It is the cost of starting a real sales cycle. Costs per connect completely shifts the entire focus of your campaign. Instead of measuring how many times your agents can click a button on a dialer, it measures their actual productivity. A low cost per connect is a direct reflection of high-quality data and really effective targeting. It aligns your spending with what sales actually needs, engaged prospects who are ready to talk. So let's put them side by side. CPL is like casting a huge net into the ocean. Sure, you'll catch a lot of stuff, but most of it will be seaweed, old boots, and fish that are too small to keep. Cost per connect, on the other hand, is like using a fishing rod with the perfect bait in exactly the right spot. You might not get as many bites, but the ones you do get are the keepers, the ones you actually want to bring home. Okay, so you're probably thinking, I'm sold. Cost per connect is the goal. But the next logical question is, how do we actually do it? How do we lower the cost of starting a real conversation? Well, the answer really boils down to 3 critical steps, and they all revolve around one single thing: data. First, you have to get serious about data hygiene. That means cleaning your lists and getting rid of all the junk. Second, you have to invest in accuracy. Stop calling switchboards and start using verified direct dials and mobile numbers. And third, you have to sharpen your targeting. Make sure every single dial is aimed at someone who actually fits your ideal customer profile. And the impact of doing this is dramatic. Let's go back to our earlier example. The campaign that invested in quality data ended up with a cost per acquisition that was half the price. That is not just a small improvement. That is literally the difference between a profitable campaign that can scale and a campaign that's just slowly losing money on every single deal. Now, this doesn't mean CPL is completely useless. It definitely has its place. When you're in the early stages of testing a new market or building a broad top-of-funnel campaign, CPL can be a useful directional metric. But as your business matures and you need to scale profitably, your focus has to shift to cost per connect. That becomes your North Star for growth. So, the crucial takeaway here is this. CPL is great for bringing in volume, for filling the top of your funnel with possibilities, but cost per connect is what brings home the results. The smartest teams out there, they track both, but they make all their strategic decisions and they optimize their campaigns around driving down the cost of a real connection. And that leaves us with one final thought for you to take back to your team. You're getting leads, there's no doubt about that, but take a hard, honest look at your data. Are your agents actually connecting with them? Because the answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about the future of your campaign's ROI.